h, the rate in hundreds of people per hour. Before I continue, that's may not seem like much, but that's super important when it says in hundreds of people. So this 1 that you see right here, that's a 100. Say 200. I'm just going to make sure that this is emphasized for myself, and this is in hours. That's not so important. This hundreds is important, because I don't want to read that 1 and think it's a 1. It's a 100. That the amount of people in the amusement park is changing is modeled by the function r of t, where t equals 0 corresponds to 12 p.m. Alrighty. If there are 300 people in the park, now it's important, this is measuring hundreds. 300 people in the park means that there are 300. Looks like I just wrote a third. 300 at 12. So what does that mean? That's an ordered pair, because 12 corresponds to 0. R of 0. No, I don't want to say that. If I'm trying to find the total at 0 is 300 people. Use a midpoint Riemann sum with three equal subintervals to approximate the total people in hundreds in the park at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. would correspond to t equals 6. So if I want to find the total people at 6, I have to take the initial value, that's the people that were there at time 0, and add to that the net change from 0 to 6. Net change plus the initial value is the total that's going to be there. Now we know, without doing any work, that the initial value is 3. And to do this part, we are supposed to use a midpoint Riemann sum. So from 0 to 6 into 3 separate intervals, that's going to be at 2, at 4, and at 6. And then to get the heights for these, since it's a midpoint Riemann sum, we have to find the height in the middle of these rectangles. So halfway between 0 and 2 is 1. So this is the rectangle that I'm using. Halfway between 2 and 4 is 3. So this is the rectangle that I'm using for that one. Of course, I messed that up. And then halfway between 4 and 6 is 5. So I'm using the height at 5, like so. So I got to find the area of each of these rectangles. So to do that, I'm going to use these brackets for emphasis. For a rectangle, it's, the base times height, change in x times the height. So that's going to be 2 times 2 plus 2 times 1 plus 2 times negative 2. Super important that we know this is a negative 2 because we're going down. It means people are leaving this park. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 2 times 1 is 2. So these terms here cancel out. So we're going to end up with t of 6 equals 3 plus 2. T of 6 equals 5. Now I don't want to just say that's 5, because this is measured in hundreds. The question was, approximate the total number of people in hundreds at the park. I guess I could leave it like this because it says it's in hundreds. It doesn't say to label it. So T of 6 equals 5 would work. It's probably better for my brain just to simply say T of 6 equals 5. This is hundreds of people. Once again, though, it does not say use proper units. So you'd probably be cool with just saying this. But, the math nerd in me wants to label it.